So I've observed that there seems to be a significant lack of questioning about what our capacity and destiny is and potential is as humanity, as human beings on this planet. Like if you look at the point of universal basic income or some kind of economic measure or solution to guarantee that everyone's basic needs are met, and you look at people who argue against such a measure, people who argue against such a system, and they say, if you give people something, then they won't do anything. They'll have no reason to do anything. I mean, what I see when I hear this kind of argument is just this extreme sense of limitation being accepted in terms of one's view of, what is this that you're part of here on this planet? Humanity, being a human being. Like, what does that really mean? What is our potential? Is all that we're capable of to be this society and this species that exists within a perpetual state of trying to survive, and is the extent of development of human socioeconomic systems that of offering job opportunities to people to be able to afford things like food and housing and healthcare and education, where there's clearly these systems are imperfect because there's massive poverty, and the idea that poverty only exists because people aren't trying hard enough. I mean, which is just such a lazy fucking point of view, because if you did any research into the nature of poverty, you see that it has very little to do with people not being wanting to do anything and not trying hard enough. It's just like, is this all that we are and ever will be? This society where one's basic survival and quality of life is something that must be earned, that when you're born, you're essentially worth nothing. You're viewed by the society that you're born into as being worth nothing, and you're not worth having housing. You're not worth having effective nutrition. You're not worth having guaranteed health care. You're not worth having guaranteed best education. These are privileges that you must earn. You must prove that you can contribute your labor sufficiently to companies who are earning a profit from your labor, that you are then deemed worthy enough and of value enough to be able to earn an income to maybe potentially take out a loan to afford education, or be able to afford health insurance, or some type of housing or effective nutrition. Is that all we are and ever will be on this planet? I mean, it's just ridiculously limited to have such a point of view. 1,000 years from now, is it just going to be the same as what we're doing right now? Turn on the news, employment is up, employment is down, jobs are up, jobs are down. This same bullshit 1,000 years from now, is that all human beings are? I mean, it's just laughably limited, especially when you look at, if you just take a moment to like stop and step outside of the context of money and economics, and just look at human beings and what is intrinsic to human beings all around the planet, in terms of, what do we do when we do have our basic needs met for the most part? What is our pursuit as human beings largely on this planet? It's self-expression, participation with each other, cultural expression, working with animals, working with nature and plants, and gardening, and studying the planet, studying ourselves, developing new ways of artistic expression, engineering, innovation, all kinds of stuff that people do all over the world. And to believe that if you didn't have to earn basic housing, food, education, and healthcare, that all human beings would do nothing, is just stupid. It's a stupid thing to say, because it's just utterly ignorant of the most basic level of study into the capacity of human beings and what really drives human beings when they don't have to worry about their survival and when they don't have to worry about money. Yes, there are people that are on welfare and they don't have a huge incentive. They maybe have poor education, poor self-esteem, conditioned way of looking at the world that's conditioned by generations of poverty and underdeveloped intellect and creativity and a sense of self-worth. And when you're conditioned by a system that clearly doesn't really value you or your contribution beyond your ability to make some company a profit, that does have the effect of people developing a negative, low motivation, low self-esteem, a sense of apathy, a predisposition to then go into addictions and coping mechanisms and all kinds of things. But that's only part of humanity. And there are people who are even in poor circumstances who do rise above those circumstances. So the capacity is there. And if we change the nature of our system from that of you're worth nothing unless you can work 8 hours a day for your whole life, you don't deserve a quality of life, you are a piece of shit. If you change the nature of the system from that to you have food, you have some degree of housing, you have access to education, you have access to healthcare, you are cared for, you are valued. The world wants to see you reach your potential and discover your potential, and you have the resources and the support to do it. And you have the gift of not having to worry about or stress about your survival or bills for your basic needs. That is going to change the psychology of human beings, and gradually laziness and apathy will start to go away because humans naturally want to express themselves. And you can see the proof in this when you look at young children. Young children express themselves. They have a natural sense of curiosity and discovery and expression and play and fun and innocence. That gets conditioned out by an environment that doesn't honor and support life and the developing and discovery and flourishing of life and self-expression. So to argue against things like universal basic income, and giving people their basic needs is just it's an ignorant point of view, and there's very little study been done and investigation been done by people who hold such views into their fellow man and into the capacity of their fellow man. Either that or they just simply, unfortunately, have a limited preference for the reality that they would like to exist in. I mean, is this the reality you want to be born into? Let's say you're born into lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Is this the reality that you want to be born into with this kind of socioeconomic setup? You'd be happy being born anywhere in the world into this system. I mean, here's the point of self-honesty. If you would be afraid of swapping places with anyone anywhere in the world based on looking at what their economic disadvantage would be, and you say, I don't want to be in that position, I wouldn't want to be in that situation, then that means you actually don't approve of the world as it is. You don't approve of the economic systems as they are. You don't approve of this reality, because if you really did, and if you really believed that it was what was best, you would have no problem swapping places with anyone, anywhere, at any time, and this world is great as it is. I have no problem swapping places because I have everything I need to live an effective life. I mean, clearly no one is able to answer that. No one in this world would self-honestly be able to say, I can swap places with anyone, anywhere. I would be comfortably being born anywhere to any family in any region of the world without fear of what I might encounter in terms of circumstance or disadvantagement. No one can clearly self-honestly say that they would be absolutely happy to be born anywhere in this world, and they would have no fear. So therefore, we actually self-honestly know that the reality that we're accepting and the nature of the systems that people are born into is not what it should be. So we owe it to ourselves to put in some fucking effort. And speaking of work and effort and contribution, we need to put in some fucking work and effort and contribution to really stop accepting limitation and look at what kind of solutions can we implement to help push humanity and support humanity to really reach its full potential, so that we then eventually can have a world and a reality and a socioeconomic system that we would be comfortable without any fear saying, yes, I can be born anywhere in this world and I know that I'll have what I need to live an effective life. I mean, should be the goal, you know? If that's not the goal and our goal is to simply accept limitation, what does that say about who we are as an individual? You know, it's just really sad. So, you know, if we look at our destiny as human beings, you know, for me, when I look at, you know, what is our destiny as humanity? It is to reach our very best, to create our very best, and to create the very best for everyone, to create the conditions where everyone can reach their very best. I mean, that is the utmost goal that we could have, is a world where everyone has what they need, the support, wherever you are, whoever you are, to reach your utmost potential for self-discovery and self-expression as a human being.